What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another War Thunder video. Today we're doing something a little bit different. Instead of me flying something out, I've actually got a community submission. I was on the War Thunder subreddit this weekend and noticed a guy who wanted to record a video of his replay file, but he didn't know how to do it. So I offered to do it if he submitted it to me. So he did, and I offered to add commentary if he wanted, and he was okay with that. So that's pretty much where we are. So here we are with Pyrrhic Victory flying his premium Russian P-63A5 on Korea against the Americans and British. Now, judging by the decals that Pyrrhic has on his P-63, I think it's safe to say that he's an American. He's got this thing fully decked out with the American flag. Now, for the first 5 minutes of the game, all he's done is climb. He's actually managed to get above the competition. As you can see here, we got a red dot just below us. This is a replay file, so we don't get the normal visuals of an enemy fighter with the name tag and all that until we get right up, really close to the guy. After climbing to over 5 kilometers, he finds his target and makes his dive. It's a British Spitfire. The Spitfire clearly sees him coming. You see he's evading his shots successfully, mind you. And Pyrrhic dives away. He's trying to create some separation in between him and the Spitfire. Now, had it been me, I probably would have used the energy and speed that I built up in the dive and turned that into altitude right away. I don't think I would have ran quite as far as Pyrrhic did, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. You have to keep in mind that this is not a traditional live video, so we can't see all of the enemy planes and where they are. There's no radar. Also, unless you're really close to the enemy fighters, in a replay file, the enemy planes don't tend to show themselves very well. It's a bit like playing a simulator battle where you're playing spot the dot, if you will. So I can't really fault Pyrrhic for wanting to separate himself from the Spitfire. I can't necessarily say that he did the wrong thing per se. It's a bit unusual to commentate on someone else's flying, because we all fly our aircraft just a little bit differently. And the replay file itself tends to restrict you from getting a full picture of what the battlefield really looked like. Now, he has managed to regain some altitude, and he spots another aircraft down below. Looks like an American. Judging by the shape of the wings as well as the paint job, this is likely a Marine Corps Corsair. The wings look like they're the inverted gull wings that we all recognize from the classic Corsair design. And the U.S. Marine Corps camo is a very dark blue, much darker than the regular Corsairs. Now, the Corsair did a nice job of evading. He's right on his tail. You have to give this Corsair pilot a hand here. He's been able to give Pyrrhic a run for his money. It was a nice job of flying one by the Corsair. He's managed to completely turn this little fight around. This whole fight kind of went south for Pyrrhic, really at the start. When he did his initial boom and zoom, he didn't complete the zoom part. Instead of zooming up or away, either getting altitude or getting altitude and distance, he basically just went for more of a... He tried to get him into a turn fight, and that's not necessarily the thing you want to do with this plane. So when you use a plane like this and you want to do a boom and zoom, you have to complete both parts, otherwise you end up screwing yourself. And looks like we're going for a head-on. This is a very risky maneuver. Nice shot, but he did take a little bit of damage. Just a little bit. It's unclear how bad. There's no plane indicator. There's no damage model on the left-hand side like there would be in any live battle. Also, the radar is missing, and you also don't get to see how much ammunition that the player currently has. This particular model of the King Cobra only comes with 30 rounds of 37mm cannon ammunition. So it can go pretty quickly because it fires at a fairly rapid rate, not as fast as, say, the cannon on the Yak-9T, but it's still pretty quick. Now, what some people do is they underestimate the power of the machine guns that this thing also carries. Remember, it's not just the cannon. The cannon tends to be the thing that most people think about when they think about the weaponry of this plane. Actually, the machine guns are quite powerful on their own. So even if you run out of cannon ammunition, you can rely on the 12.7s or 50 cals. After taking some damage in that last engagement, Pyrrhic has decided to take it back to the runway and get a repair. But he's also going back for ammunition. He's going to need every round he can get if he's going to have any kind of chance at pulling off a victory here. Now, I don't know if you guys have been paying any attention to the kill feed, but Pyrrhic's team has taken quite a few losses. Pyrrhic's team isn't just being shot down by fighters. Even the enemy B-25s are doing work. There was a B-25 that just took down an LA-5F just a couple of minutes ago. And if you take a look at the team list, Pyrrhic's down to just one teammate. Meanwhile, the enemy team still got half their team left. And look, the last guy on his team just died. The LA-5FN just went down. So it's now 1 versus 7. 5 fighters, 2 B-25 bombers. 1 versus 7. This is not the kind of odds I like. As a matter of fact, if I were in Pyrrhic's hands, I would probably, or in his shoes rather, I would probably just bail. Just say, screw it. In fact, I have been in these kinds of situations. I've been in a lot of games where it's been 1 on 7 or 1 on 6 or whatever. And quite frankly, more often than not, I just leave the game. The odds are so against you that I don't think it's really worth the time trying to put up a fight. That being said, if you want to put up a fight, more power to you. That's just going to be really difficult because we're not just up against a couple of planes, we're up against 5 fighters and 2 bombers. And 2 of those fighters are Spitfires. Spitfire Mark IIBs. As you may notice, we've already got a fighter coming in. Just above this ridgeline, you can see a red dot coming in. And he's not alone. The enemy team has figured out that the last guy is near his base, and they're all coming for him. Now Pyrrhic, because he just took off, doesn't have much speed built up. He obviously doesn't have any altitude. Even though he's got a fresh repair and he's got a full loadout of ammo, he doesn't have a whole lot of advantages right now. Other than full ammo and a full repair, the only thing he's got going for him is he's near his base. That's his only hope. Have the AAA take care of the enemy fighters. There's a guy chasing him. He's a terrible shot, I have to admit. Terrible shot. He's hitting everything but the plane. And for Pyrrhic's sake, he's doing the right thing. He's just running. That's all he can do is run. There's a P-47 has crashed. He's been farming AAA by the looks of it. More shots are incoming. He doesn't just have fighters on his tail. There's also a B-25 that has decided to join the fight. So just imagine all those 50 cals. The B-25, whoa, are incoming. The B-25 missile not only has the traditional loadout of 50 cals on the back because of its rear gunners, but it also has 50 cals in the nose. So anyone using a B-25 can use it somewhat as a fighter. You see there's a B-25 down there. This guy goes crashing in to the ground. That's another P-47 down. That's two P-47s down. There's a Spitfire over here. Takes a couple of shots, but actually the AAA takes care of him. So that's two P-47s and a Spitfire down. But Pyrrhic still got guys on his tail. There's a Spitfire behind him, plus a B-25 in the area. But where are they all? Takes us a minute to look around, and oh, don't look around. Take a couple of shots to the face. Somehow he's actually managed to outturn the Spitfire. Don't ask how, because I certainly don't know. Takes a couple of shots there. Oh, and the Spitfire gets taken on by AAA. But he's not out of the woods yet. B-25 Mitchell pulls in right just in front of him. Gunners start opening up. Come on, land those 37s. He's dipping. A little lower to the left, a little lower to the left. There you go. B-25 down. That's his second kill of the match. Remember, the first kill was the Corsair. And just that fast, all of a sudden, this fight is actually winnable. 2 P-47 Thunderbolts crashed. He took down a B-25. AAA took down 2 Spitfire Mark IIBs. And now all that's left is a B-25 Mitchell and a F-6 Hellcat. With Pyrrhic Victory being this close to the runway, he would be a fool not to land and repair, but also to get that extra ammo that he can pick up. There's no point in him going into the battle with his Hellcat and B-25 with only half of his ammunition. Now, rather than showing you the landing and the eventual climb, we're going to skip right towards the actual combat, because it's going to be a while. Alright guys, we're back. It's almost 8.5 minutes has gone by, and we finally got eyes on one of the targets. A Hellcat has actually returned to base and decided to bring out bombs and rockets, and he's actually been attacking ground targets. There's still no sign of the B-25. There, the Hellcat unloads rockets, probably because he sees the King Cobra coming in, and he doesn't want to be weighed down by those rockets. He wants all the maneuverability that he can get. Hellcat's clearly at a disadvantage in altitude, while Pyrrhic is in a great position for a little boom and zoom. Hellcat clearly sees that he's coming towards him, tries to turn inside, and he goes vertical. Nice maneuver. But if he keeps that up, he's going to run out of speed. Remember, the Hellcat was at low altitude to begin with, so if he continues to go vertical, he's just going to stall himself out. He goes vertical once again. You can see contrails from the wingtips, and he looks like he's stalling out. Turn, Pyrrhic, turn! Here we go. Firing a little bit wildly there. Hellcat turns left and goes vertical again, but can't avoid all the 37s. He eventually gets taken down by one. Nice job, Pyrrhic. The Hellcat pilot didn't have a whole lot of things going for him. He didn't have a whole lot of speed, and going vertical was not necessarily the best decision. When you're at low speed already, going vertical is just going to cost you your speed even more. He may have stood a better chance if he had actually lost altitude and trying to turn it into a regular dogfight, or a turn fight rather. That would have been interesting to see a King Cobra and a Hellcat go at it in a turn fight. Now, we saw some ground targets down there. I thought initially that maybe there was a B-25 that had crash landed and it hadn't died, but that wasn't the case. It looked like some tanks or not artillery, but armored cars may have been down there on that landing strip. There's still no signs of the B-25, but there is a runway over in this direction. You see, we got some bombing points showing up here. I was surprised to see some of these intact. Just like American teams, most Russian teams have bombers. So I was kind of surprised to see these still intact. I expected them to be taken out by a year or two or whatever they have, but to have this one on the right has taken some damage, about 50% dead. Still no B-25. There were a few messages in the kill feed several minutes ago. He had taken out I believe it was a medium tank and one AAA. Here's the Korean map. You see we're getting closer to the runway here. I suspected that B-25 dropped all of its bombs and only managed to get one tank in that run, and he's likely on his way back to the base to rearm. I was surprised that he didn't get more than one AAA in that time span. I suspect that he either couldn't find any AAA, or anymore, because the other people had taken care of them. Or maybe he didn't want to make himself an easy target. You know, if someone sees you farming AAA in the kill feed, they'll know exactly where to go. Looks like Pirk's having some fun doing some acrobatic maneuvers. Might as well, you know, there's nothing else you can do. Searching for the last enemy bomber tends to be a little on the boring side, let's be honest. But the B-25 should be showing up pretty soon. The runway is very close. Yeah, here he is. B-25 Mitchell inbound. And it makes sense that he would be coming in from over here. After all, he wants to not only get a fresh load of bombs, but also he could use those base AAA as cover, and you use that base AAA to shoot down Pirk Victory. Pirk's coming in from a shallow dive, but he's got a little bit of speed built up, just enough speed that it'll make it difficult for the B-25's gunners to hit him. If you're going too slow, the B-25 will be able to land some shots. Sparks, sparks, sparks. It's always one of the frustrating parts about these large caliber cannons. You tend to get a lot of sparks and not a whole lot of critical damage hits. Immediately turns around, lines up a shot, fires, opens fire, boom, takes out the right engine. Nice shot. B-25 is still on fire. He's lost tail control. Yeah, he's going down by the looks of that. He's not going to pull up. Yeah, there we go. 4th kill. And Pirk pops the victory smoke. That's a hell of a game. Coming back from 7-1 at disadvantage. 5 fighters, 2 enemy bombers, and Pirk was all by himself. That was a hell of a match. Anyway, guys, I thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please hit that thumbs up button. And of course, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Take care, guys.